Welcome to the Half-Blood Report.
Here we discuss Percy Jackson news, interviews, and all things Riordan. I'm Samuel, your co-host.
And I'm Diego, your other co-host.
Later on the podcast, we're going to be making our final predictions on the Tower of Nero and Tristan Strong Destroys the World. But first, Diego, I think we need to address the awesome Riordan-related thing that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we got to talk to Rick Riordan. The videos we made with him are out now on readriordan.com, and it was super awesome to finally be able to do that.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I cannot tell you how awesome it is just like a year after starting the podcast to have done not exactly an interview with Rick Riordan, but gotten to talk to him and gotten to do a video promotion for his book with him. So
yeah, it was super fun. And everything they say about him is totally true. We've had many authors on this podcast. And we always ask them, what's your favorite thing about working with Rick Riordan? And we always get like similar responses in that he's just an awesome person to be around. And now Samuel and I kind of got to experience it for ourselves, and we were not disappointed. Our expectations were met and then surpassed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just very nice of the whole Disney team to let us do that. And help us, make that video possible. But, I mean, besides the awesome thing that we got to talk to Rick Riordan, we actually got a lot of information in that video about the Tower of Nero.
Yeah, that we haven't really been able to address until now when it's finally out.
Just to clarify, we did film this a couple of weeks ago, but we weren't able to talk about it, which felt really sad because we're like, oh, we got all this awesome information about the Tower of Nero. We can make all these predictions. Like, nope, we have to pretend like that hasn't happened
exactly.
yet.
It's like, no, that's actually you don't get to do that. But yeah, no, it was a super awesome experience. And we're definitely gonna talk about it. I feel like more in future podcasts and stuff. But Samuel, do you want to jump into the Demigod news?
Yeah, so usually we kind of talk about a bunch of other stuff, but we're still kind of going to be talking about this video because that is Demigod news.
Seeing as we are the Demigod news this week, it's a bit awkward because usually it'd be like, so Samuel, what did Reed Riordan put up this week? And it's like, so Samuel, Reed Riordan put us up this week. But yeah, no, let's break down the videos in further detail. Samuel.
Yeah, do you want to start with the Demigod map video or the haiku video?
Let's start with the Demigod map.
Yeah, that came out first. So with the Demigod map, in case you haven't watched the videos, we kind of talked about sort of this map Reed Riordan has that connects all the demigods. We actually got a printout of the map. I'm probably keeping mine forever now.
Yeah, same here. I got a package from Disney, and I will cherish that till my final dying days.
Yeah, same. They also sent us the magnifying glasses you can see us using in the video.
Yeah, so the magnifying glasses, official Disney property. We can't throw those out now.
I've already lost mine, Diego.
Don't let them hear you say that, Samuel.
Yeah, but I guess one really interesting thing we got is Jason's going to be in Nero. So...
Yeah, we're not really sure in what form. The same way that the video was kind of pretty ambiguous about it. You'd think since we actually recorded it, we know more about it, but it literally what you saw was what we got. So I think we're probably going to do a bit more speculation in the next section, in the Oracle section.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically the way I interpret it is probably some sort of like flashback that's still weighing on, Apollo's conscious.
Yeah, I think maybe that, or also in the way that Bianca appeared, that she's kind of just like a ghost. I think we might get a little bit of that for like some sort of reunion or something. Like since the main focus is going to be one of the main characters, which we also found out in the video, but had been mentioned earlier, is that Nico D'Angelo is going to play a very important part. And we know that Nico has this ability to summon ghosts and talk to them. So it's definitely possible that Nico kind of pulls him back for a last sort of meal with his friends before they all go off into like fan fiction.
Yeah, but I have to say I highly doubt Jason, is fully coming back to life.
Yeah.
I'm still more set that it's gonna be more of a flashback thing than sort of like a Bianca in the Battle of the Labyrinth thing. But I'm not gonna shut down that option completely. I think Diego has a bit of a possibility there, but I'm much more set in his appearance in the book is going to be more sort of memory or dream state related.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Another really big thing that was revealed in this video was the fact that Rick was going to write a bunch of other standalone novels. So we kind of had already predicted this, or on this podcast we thought about the fact that it would make a lot of sense if he wrote like one book about a character and another book about another character instead of a whole series as he has done in the past. But with the existence of him like researching about Irish mythology, we kind of dismissed this and went more with a series about Irish mythology. But now that he has like reconfirmed the fact that he probably won't be doing any series anytime soon, I'm pretty sure that this Irish mythology series will actually be a standalone novel.
Yeah. I think I kind of expected this to be an Irish standalone, but I mean, we did make jokes about the series name and stuff, so I don't remember. But yeah, we are going back to sort of more the bunch of standalone ideas. I think he did an interview where she talked about how he has like a couple already where he's kind of tinkering with a bunch. I think he said four is the current number he has, so it's probably the
Yeah, four
Irish,
is the current number. Probably
Irish.
Irish, probably either Reina or Nico,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, it'll be really cool to see like a backstory about characters. I'd really like to see an Annabeth backstory, kind of explaining how she ran away from home, or maybe something about characters that we don't know as much about.
Hmm. Yeah, I think most of the standalone novels, if not all, are going to be about characters we know nothing about yet. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the standalone novels he writes from now on are sprinkled with ones about characters that we already know. Kind of like every other one is about characters we know already.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think that would be really good if we saw that happen. And we also got a lot of other people confirmed in the book. We know that Hazel and Frank are going to make a cameo. We know that Tyson's going to be in the book. We do, however, know that Grover is just not going to make the cut, which I know a lot of people were sad about.
no.
Yeah, because we wanted to see the trio reunite at the end, but I guess that's just not in the stars for Rick.
Yeah, man. If they could have just included one person I've seen with Grover in it, I would have been happy. But no.
Yeah,
Uh,
like Grover doesn't even have to do anything. He just has to sit there.
well, it's fine because I guess he's off in Southern California right now. It makes sense he's
Yeah.
not there. I mean, it makes
But
sense. He's. I'm wondering what's the explanation for all these characters who are literally at Camp Jupiter to like now be in New York, right?
yeah, yeah, because it's like Tyson's still at Camp Jupiter. Though he might have some sort of like sea powers or something. But Hazel and Frank, like that just makes no sense.
Well, where's Mrs. O'Leary right now? Because she could do some shadow traveling, right?
She could, but it would take a lot of shadow travels to make it all the way back to New York.
Yeah, or maybe Nico helps with that. Yeah, I think that the best explanation for them coming in whenever they do is probably going to end up being shadow travel. That just seems to be the way it's usually done.
Yeah,
And
maybe. I also think it's quite possible that maybe they have some labyrinth run in, since we already know that that Python's cave can be accessed from the labyrinth.
that's true. So maybe they're like they send an iris message to everyone, and they say, "You got to use the labyrinth to get to Python. We're having a final battle there." And everyone's like, "Okay."
But Rick said it wouldn't be portals, but the labyrinth isn't completely off the list.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like Apollo, like on his knees with the arrow of Dodona, the only arrow left in his sling, with his bow, and Python kind of like above him, like about to kill him. And then from behind, like you get the little Avengers theme music. Bum, 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 bum. And then
He
you just like see people.
Diego, he said he's not. He said it's not
And
going to be like the Avengers.
and then people just pop out of the labyrinth at like different points behind him. And then he's kind of like, "We are stronger together," and then they like fight off Python. But you're right that probably isn't likely.
Yeah, I don't know. It is certainly interesting how these cameos are going to happen. Yeah, but my bet's currently on Shadow Child. Although the labyrinth would be interesting if they all have to make it through the labyrinth, and it would
Yeah,
actually be
definitely.
that actually has a built-in explanation as to why Grover doesn't come in the book, right? Grover and all the nature
Does
spirits, they
not
want.
like the labyrinth.
Yeah, they do not like the labyrinth. Even if it was like final battle against Python, they may just be, yeah, sorry, we're gonna have to sit this one out. We're all very anti-labyrinth.
Do it, fawn style. I have a doctor's appointment actually. I can't make it.
Yeah. Diego, are you ready to do our final Oracle section for the Camp Half-Blood Chronicles?
Oh my god, when you say it like that, it feels so intense.
This is intense,
It is
Diego.
intense. It is intense. What am I saying? It's super intense.
But I know we're probably going to have a lot of new listeners this episode. So, as always, let's clarify exactly what the Oracle section is.
Yeah, so the Oracle section is a section in which we look at the source mythology, or in this case, the haikus and the video, to make predictions on a future Rick Riordan, or in some cases, Rick Riordan Presents book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this time we're mainly going to be talking about the Tower of Nero, but also very much about Tristan Strong Destroys the World, because both those coming out the day after this episode releases. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's pretty wild. We're gonna get two books just dropping the same day.
Are you pumped to read
I
these?
I am I am excited to read these books. I personally just really like Tristan Strong, and I don't know what Rick's gonna do in the Tower of Nero, but I want to read all of it.
Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna be like reading both books at the same time, holding them in front of my
Yeah,
face, like
exactly.
one
It's
eye
like
per
it's
book.
exactly one eye's looking at one book and the other one's reading the other, and you're kind of just like mixing the information in your brain, and you're like, yeah, don't you remember Gum Baby killed Python?
Yo, I know we talked about Baby Yoda in the Tower of Nero, but if Gum Baby killed Python, that would just be the best possible ending to everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gum Baby just shows up and she just like sucker punches Python across his big snaky face, and she goes, "Ha!"
Yeah. So, what are your final predictions for the Tower of Nero, Diego?
Okay. So, getting all the stuff from the haikus, I definitely think that we're gonna see the arrow of Dodona either being shot or broken.
I think that was kind of confirmed because I guessed in the video that it's gonna be broken, and then they were like, maybe, but then in the video they released, they like put text on that said nailed it. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure something around that is definitely gonna happen. I also believe, of course, we know that Rachel's going to be in it, but I think Rachel's also going to be like the labyrinth guide, because that kind of just makes sense.
Hmm.
Um,
But didn't we kind of talk about how in the prophecy it talks about how Nico is going to be the guide?
I think Nico might be the guide, but I still think that it would probably just be easier for Rachel to do it. Though,
Well,
now
what
that
if
you
it's like
mentioned that,
what if it's like I said, friend of wait, what was the exact line of the oracle that we got in a giant argument about? I forget, but
it was,
what if
"O son of Zeus, the final challenge face. The tower of Nero two alone ascend. Dislodge the beast that has usurped thy place. The son of Hades, cave runner's friend, must show the way unto the throne. On Nero's own your life. your lives now depend. So we talked about Cavern Runner's friend. So it's a friend of the Cavern Runner. So the son of Hades, friend of the Cavern Runner. And we don't actually know who the Cavern Runner is, but I think we kind of assumed it to be Mrs. O'Leary.
No, the Cavern Runner we assumed was gonna be Nico D'Angelo.
No, 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 no. It can't be Nico.
But that's what we talked about it being last time.
No, no, no. We didn't. We had this entire argument in which I proved to you using grammar that the Cavern Runner is not Nico D'Angelo.
No, we were agreed on that. We were agreed that it was Nico D'Angelo. You actually proved to me that it wasn't Nico D'Angelo's friend.
Yeah, it's the son of Hades is the friend of the Cavern Runner.
Yeah, so what if the Cavern Runner is Rachel Elizabeth Dare?
Oh my God, Samuel, you've done it. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's possible that that's it. Although it wouldn't make sense because kind of everybody's friends with Rachel. Not really just Nico. So I think it makes more sense for it to be Miss O'Leary.
Well, yeah, I think that's basically the agreement we came to last time. I don't know why I brought it back up, but
But yeah, totally. So I think some final predictions here. I'm still kind of set on Arrow of Dodonna versus Python Death Shot. I'm also still set on like using the labyrinth to get to like the cavern of Delphi. I'm also set on something that we did predict in the haiku video, or I believe you did, which was that Annabeth's baseball cap is gonna make an appearance, helping somebody become invisible. I also believe that the other prediction that you made, which is that Meg was captured by Nero, is also true.
Mhm.
And I definitely think that we are gonna see Meg kill, wound, or dispose of Nero.
So back to the Meg haiku, it says something about like for Meg, for glory, for hats in I think that line, right? And so
Yeah.
obviously the big reveal was like they had to save Meg. But when we were talking about hats, we said maybe it's one of Hermes' flying hats, maybe it's NF's Yankees cap. But we actually got a Reed Riordan article highlighting a character who's been in the book called Screech Bling. And one of the things about Screech Bling is that he's a hat collector, along with being just a generally fashionable troglodyte. He is a hat collector. So I think that chapter is probably going to be one of his main chapters, Screech Bling. Screech Bling is definitely going to be, helping Apollo storm the castle or storm the tower,
Yeah.
I should say, to
I
save
definitely
Meg.
think that's possible. I'm not actually sure on the mythological size of a troglodyte. But I can definitely imagine that they'd probably be good at climbing towers.
I think they're probably like walking up steps. I don't think they're actually climbing the size of it, like side of it, but I don't know. It's
I mean, how
interesting.
much cooler would it be if they were climbing the side of it?
Okay, but how much more likely is that Rick's gonna just write 5 paragraphs about how Lester complains that his knees hurt?
A lot more likely. Never mind.
Yeah, he's just gonna be like, I can't do stairs. Human bodies are
No.
so weak. Speaking of which, what do you think is actually going to happen to Apollo? I know one theory. When I first heard it, I thought it sounded kind of dumb, but I'm actually starting to warm up to it more and more. I've heard this theory from multiple people, including actually Robert from the Damn Meme page, and it's that Lester is going to end up becoming kind of like Dionysus was for Camp Half-Blood, where he's sort of the instructor along with Chiron.
Yeah, I think Rick mentioned this in the video, and his exact words I can't quote, but I can kind of quote the general idea that he was trying to convey. He said, "Either way, it's the end of Lester, whether or not he dies or becomes a god again. But as usual, it's more complicated than that. So we know that it's not going to be that he just becomes a god again, and that it's not going to be that he just dies."
Well, I disagree. I don't think we can eliminate those possibilities. I think it's just gonna be like it's probably that he becomes a god again. I don't think it's gonna be that he just straight up dies. I think he's probably gonna become a god again, but sort of, with it's gonna get
He's
more
not going to
complicated.
go yeah, he's not going to go back to being one of the like cocky Olympians.
which I think why him becoming the new instructor at Camp Half-Blood is an idea I really like, because it does kind of fit that idea of the complication, but he also is going to go back to being a god again, you know. So,
Yeah, and I know obviously Rick has stated multiple times that the people at Camp Half-Blood are going to play a super important role in the Tower of Nero. So I definitely think that everybody from Camp Half-Blood's kind of like going to warm up to Lester, and that he might even make the decision of staying.
mhm, yeah. So yeah, I am very interested in what exactly is going to happen to him. I'm sort of more interested in Lester's final decision than I almost am in how they're going to deal with Python. I think Nero's definitely still a mystery, but I almost feel Python, it's going to be a big final battle. Lester's almost going to die, and then with the help of his friends or
Yeah,
something, he wins, right? And but
exactly,
then
definitely.
it's almost
I
Zeus
actually
come.
don't think that the Nero fight is going to be an enigma because of the line from the prophecy. I think it's going to be Nero about to kill her in the process of killing Apollo, and it says here, on Nero's own your lives now depend. And I know that that could mean any number of people. It could mean his soldiers, people that work for him, right? But I think it definitely means that, just me personally, I think that Nero's own is referring to Meg. And I think that at some point, Apollo's life is going to hang in the balance. And Meg is going to make the decision to save him. And in the process, maybe even kill her adoptive and abusive
Oh my
stepfather.
gosh, I'm almost crying just thinking about that scene. Just Apollo about to die, and Meg has to make the decision to kill her father figure to save someone she pretends to hate. That's, oh wow, that's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that's
Oh,
going to be I think that's going to be a great scene, and that it's just going to add so much to the book that it really wouldn't make sense for it not to appear.
hmm. So we've talked a lot about Tower of Nero, and I wish we could talk about it more, but there is another book coming out on October 6th, and that's Tristan Strong Destroys the World. We've got a lot on this book. We got a sneak peek. We got a bunch of character
Character
art.
portraits, we got so much character art.
So first up, what's your opinion on the sneak peek? What did you get out of that? By the way,
So
there's a link
I
in the
think
description to that.
Yeah, I think what I got out of the sneak peek was that we are gonna see Tristan return to Alk, clearly, and that we're gonna see Tristan encounter a foe, and I think that this foe is going to be somebody who he inadvertently hurt in his adventures in Alk. There's a lot of people who may not have benefited from him taking out Uncle Cotton, and there's a lot of people who maybe their lives were directly impacted for the worse by his actions. And I think that it would definitely be super interesting if we saw something like that, where it's kind of, I I know Kwame loves playing with deeper things and not just like a random villain, and I think that it would be really important and really interesting if Tristan kind of learned that his actions do have repercussions.
Yeah, and I do would say that I still think that this villain is probably still kind of behind this villain. Uncle C is probably still pulling the strings, because as I've kind of mentioned in previous episodes, we already know Uncle C is going to be the main villain for book 3, the conclusion to the Tristan Strong's trilogy, and he's actually going to escape in the mortal world. So it almost only makes sense if we find out that Uncle C escapes from Alk in this book. And I actually want to make a whole prediction on the end of the book, okay? They're going to, this is kind of just out of nowhere. I'm just making this prediction now, and it might end up being totally wrong. But if it is, I'm going to have to go Diego level crazy. So, what is going to happen? Okay, so they're going to track down this villain. They're going to have a big fight. It's going to turn out behind this villain, it was Uncle C the whole time. And they're like, ha, gotcha again, Uncle C. This time they're going to put Uncle C in prison. Tristan's going to leave Alk. He's going to go to round 2 of this boxing match against, I think, Reggie it is, right? Or no,
Yes, I
it's
do believe
no.
it is.
Yeah. So, and then he's going to fight Reggie. This time he wins. He's feeling good. Maybe Grandpa takes him out to dinner. And then like he gets a call through Anansi, and then it turns out they're like, Tristan, Uncle C, he's escaped. He's out of Elk. And he's like, no. And like that leads into book 3 where they have to trace him around in our world. That's my
Yeah,
prediction.
I well, if you get it right, you have um full permission from myself to scream into the microphone. I'm a genius.
Yeah, I get to take your catchphrase.
No,
Um
you don't get to take it, but you get to use it once.
there are restrictions. My bad. I'm sorry. I
It's a
misunderstood.
one-time use kind of thing, Samuel.
Hey, Diego, can we talk about the I'm a Genius merch?
Ooh. Don't talk about it merch, but say that I'm gonna just yell I'm a genius right now into the microphone, and can you edit it in before minute 15 of this episode?
Why do you ask?
Because I want people to know about I'm a genius.
It's fine. It'll be, but yeah, I mean, you are the Oracle. I mean, in that video, you were literally just your
I
eyes got
I
green.
my eyes became green, and that is because I am the oracle. I mean, Samuel's tried to hide it for a long time, but it's something that just comes naturally to me. Although I'm a very strange kind of oracle, I would call myself the big brain oracle because my prophecies come in the form of crazy stuff and then lots of screams of I'm a genius that eventually become reality.
Yeah, that was the the genius they left out of the trials, the Oracle, I should say, they left out of the Trials of
The
Apollo
Trials of
series.
Apollo. Yeah, I mean, like,
That was the one Nero for the Triumvirate forgot to take control of.
yeah, the triumvirate was
Or
so
no,
focused
wait,
on.
no. I think they actually did. There was that time we had a recording session and they busted in and they tried to take Diego, but
Yeah,
he
no,
was
I
too
totally remember
powerful.
that. Yeah,
He was just too powerful.
they tried to subdue me, but unfortunately, my loud, squeaky voice simply just blew them away. They just couldn't with my loud screams.
Hmm.
I just turned to them and was like, "I'm a genius! I'm a genius! I'm a genius!" And Nero, I mean, he crumbled into dust.
Another thing that we got is Kwame posted a bunch of character art. One that we got is for art for a character called Mami Wata. And I looked that up, and that is a character from African folklore. And she's kind of just a water spirit, basically. And so, something about water, we do kind of already know one body of water in Tristan Strong that's kind of is it the river or is it the
Mystical.
ocean?
It is. I
But
think I do believe it is an ocean.
well, it separates Alk and Mid Pass, so that's so
Probably
I
an
don't know,
ocean.
but I don't know if she's going to be the water spirit for an ocean or like a small river Tristan finds or something.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure, but definitely we got so much character art that I mean, if you just look at all of the characters that appeared, you could probably figure out a lot about them. And we actually have looked at all of the characters. And I was looking at the character art for Anansi, and I actually, if you kind of look at it, you do see that there is this app that has these two dashes and an X on it. And that could mean one of two things. Either it's an app to find a location, which I definitely think is going to play an important role, obviously finding the location of something. And there's also there it could also be an app for some sort of sewing, and we know that sewing is going to play a big role in Tristan Strong.
yeah, I do think that's interesting. I mean, the artist may have just kind of drawn random symbols that looked like they could be apps, or these could all kind of be referencing apps that appear in the book. So that's an interesting. I didn't even look at the apps. I was like, oh yeah, I guess those are kind of apps that he has. But
Yeah,
that's actually
and
a good notice there. Good
yeah,
catch.
I think there's also like a pretty creepy app in which it's kind of just the silhouette of some sort of character, and I'm not really sure if you look at it from different angles, it looks like different things.
It reminds me of the Finder, the logo for Finder on a Mac, except it doesn't have like the double face. It's just the silhouette face. Because
Yeah,
Finder, it's like almost like a two face.
maybe now we know that Anansi, the smartphone, runs on iOS.
Yeah. No, he's a completely different thing. I think we already got that in the sneak peek. He has a specific name for it. Tristan does.
So, final prediction for Tristan Strong, which I actually kind of predicted in, I think it was our first Oracle about this book. If you look at Nana's character art, you will see that she's actually putting together a quilt. And if you go back and look at that episode, which I will spare you the trouble, I did actually predict the fact that a quilt could be a way to sew a soul back together. And we see Nana here with her knitting needles and this giant quilt which reads, "I was born in the shallows of a mighty river." So I definitely think that that's not an accident. I think that this river is going to be the river which the water spirit, who you mentioned earlier,
Mami
is
Wata.
gonna Mami Wata is kind of gonna be presiding over. And I definitely think that this quilt, in one way or another, kind of tells the story of her life. And as we can see, Nana kind of quilting this together, and we do know that she is kidnapped as the inciting incident of this book. I think that something is going to happen to that quilt and it's just going to break Nana. So Tristan is going to go. He's going to be able to rescue her. We're going to have this reunion, but it's not going to be the same Nana that he knows and loves. And he's going to have to go kind of on this side quest in which he has to put her back together and sew her soul back into one piece.
That's interesting. That's a good theory. So, do you think
Because,
that you think the quilt tells the story of Nana's life, not Mami Wata's life?
no, I think it is Nana's life.
Oh. What if it's Mami Wata's life? And I actually like your theory more, but I'm just gonna like throw mine out there. What if it tells the story of Mami Wata's life, and they need this quilt to restore Mami Wata's soul, which has been broken because her being a water spirit, maybe she has the power to get back at the villain who has kidnapped Tristan's Nana.
I definitely think that is totally possible. Although I kind of like, I don't know, I know it appears in a lot of movies. I think it appears in one of the Rick Riordan Presents books, but I can't name it off the top of my head, in which there is this thing which you believe to be the quest, and then the quest is over, and then you realize, hey, wait a second, it's not.
Hmm. Yeah, that kind of trope where it's like the story beyond the story.
Right? Like,
But yeah,
like
that
somebody gets kidnapped and you rescue them quickly, and you're like, oh, okay, it's over, and then you realize, no, it's really not.
well, Diego, I am super excited to meet back with you and just kind of discuss all of these theories in a week from now and see like how much do we actually get right. We often don't really do a full look back, but I think we really have to this time because we've been counting down to the Tower of Nero for almost a year. We've made almost over a year, really, and we've made so many predictions. It's just crazy to think, you know,
Yeah.
it's finally happening, and I always wish that we almost started this earlier, the podcast, just so we could have talked about more stuff, but I mean, we almost started at the perfect time where we got all these adaptations coming out, but we also get to talk. Also got an opportunity to talk about the Tower of Nero for hours and hours. And now it's coming out, and I'm excited with all of you, whether you're new to the podcast or you've been with us since day one. I'm very happy that we're finally getting the end of the Camp Half-Blood Chronicles, and we're going to be able to see how much over the year we've gotten right.
Yeah, totally. So I think that's pretty much it for this episode. But I kind of want to say one last thing in that you guys should totally come back in a couple of weeks, and we might have a helper to help us break down the Tower of Nero.
Hmm.
I wonder who that could be, Samuel.
I wonder. Uh, so Diego, how can someone contact this podcast?
You can follow the show on Twitter at Half Report, and you can also find us on Instagram and shoot us a DM at the Half Blood Report. You can also email the show if it's something more formal at thehalfbloodreport@gmail.com. And we also have a website, thehalfbloodreport.com. You can send us a chat there or a contacts form.
Yeah, and please leave a review on Apple Podcast. We read and respond to those on our seasonal mailbag episodes. Our mailbag episodes, we cover all of our messages from our website, through our email, and our Apple reviews. We love Apple reviews. And also, 5-star Apple review, your birthday is coming up. We'll sing you happy birthday.
We'll sing you the patented version of Happy Birthday by the Half Blood Report.
It's not patented. That's not how.
We have a copyright.
No, we don't. Um,
No, we don't, but don't steal it. That'd be mean.
yeah, that would be not very nice. But hey, you know what? Let's end this one, Diego.
Alrighty, tidy. That said, it's time for credits. Our theme music is actually by me.
I do our editing.
My co-host here is Samuel, and I'm Diego.
And a huge thank you and shout out to Magnus Chase, our first patron. This is the Half-Blood Report podcast, the only HBR that matters. Survive till next week.